Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
What is up, friends? Good morning. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado, registered pharmacist number 12275. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural, nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more knowledgeable, you are more and more in control of your body, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 27 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing system a miracle, it really is no miracle at all. It is simply the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, if you want to get off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, let us help you. We welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side. Our number is 855-660-4261. If you have a success story, if you want to contribute to the conversation, 855-660-4261. Likewise, if you have questions about the longevity products, the ones I take and the ones I recommend, give us a call at 855-660-4261 and try to get on board early so we can get to as many calls as possible at 855-660-4261. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products that you hear us talk about on The Bright Side or advertised on the program, you can head over to my website, brightsideben.com. All the products are up on a shopping cart on the upper left-hand corner of the page. Pull down on the menu. Make sure you take a especially long look at my personal favorite longevity product, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine Multivitamin Mineral Complex Powder that you add to water and drink. I've been seeing the results of this stuff for going on 17 years now. Beyond Tangy Tangerine first, then Beyond Tangy Tangerine, now Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 with probiotics and prebiotics and GMO free. You can find out all about it at brightsideben.com or by calling the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Make sure you ask about joining the Brightside Ben team. For a one-time $10 fee, you can enjoy all the tax benefits associated with having your own business. You can write off your home office, write off your mileage, write off your products that you give away as samples, and help spread the word about the importance of a good nutritional supplement program. Not to mention getting your products at the wholesale price, and not to mention making a little bit of money as well. And some folks are making a significant amount of money. You can find out all about it by calling the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470 or by clicking on the Join the Team link on the upper left-hand corner of the page at brightsideben.com. Also want to encourage you to check out my blog, pharmacistben.com, which we update regularly with news stories as well as blog posts. I got a story, I have a blog post coming up there, hopefully today, about selenium. That's pharmacistben.com. And thank you to my webmaster, Robert Lundgren, who does such a fine job on my website. Okay, we are talking about cysteine. I love this stuff, man. Cysteine is a sulfur molecule, a sulfur amino acid, one of the two main sulfur amino acids, two main protein-building sulfur amino acids in the body. There's actually 3 sulfur amino acids, but 2 of them stand out in importance for building things. Cysteine is one of them. We're going to talk about the second one here in a little bit. Cysteine, as we've said, is a protective molecule in its NAC form. It's a hardening molecule. It forms it's a key component in the formation of keratin, which makes your fingernails hard and makes rhinoceros horns hard and deer antlers hard. Our skin is basically coated with a layer of keratin, a very thin layer of keratin, almost like a fingernail. You can think of a very thin fingernail that coats the surface of the skin, the so-called stratum corneum, and it's all gets this hardening effect this protein gets its hardening properties from this amino acid cysteine. But cysteine also has a downside. There's a toxic form of cysteine which has been making the news, has made the news now for the last 20 years or so. It's called homocysteine. Homocysteine actually the public first became aware of homocysteine in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Dr. Kilmer McCulley was the first guy to bring public awareness to the potential connection between disease, specifically heart disease, and homocysteine. Dr. McCulley actually discovered this connection back in the late 1960s. He is a brilliant visionary physician, one of the good guys. He's a Harvard graduate with honors from Harvard. He's a recipient of many awards for medicine, including the prestigious Linus Pauling Functional Medicine Awards. Obviously, this guy's not a flake. It's not some wild-eyed anti-establishment radical. He's pretty much a mainstream doctor. Dr. McCulley's been a guest on The Bright Side, and he is, in my opinion, one of the great heroes of the battle being waged by ethical, honest, and caring healthcare professionals against the established paradigm and status quo that's represented by the Institute of Medicine and its academic poodles, lapdogs, that corroborate and certify this dogma, the predatory dogma that passes for real science and unfortunately justifies the modern medical reliance on pharmaceuticals and surgical treatments for diseases of toxicity and deficiency. This is oftentimes what happens with the status quo, oftentimes what happens with an establishment. The status quo and establishment, unfortunately, oftentimes exists just to perpetuate itself. It forgets that its mandate is to help people. It forgets institutions sometimes forget that its mandate is to help those that compose the institution. Certainly we see this in government. We see this with the state. The state oftentimes forget that it's not there for itself. It's there for the people. When an institution forgets that it's there for the people that compose that institution, that marks the beginning of the end for that institution, whether the institution is government, whether the institution is the state, or whether the institution is established models of health like what we call the modern medical model. In any case, Dr. McCulley is an Ivy League guy. He's a professor of pathology at Brown University. He's the author of mainstream books, several mainstream books, including one classic, at least in the world of books for the public. It's a book I read probably 10 or 15 years ago, which first introduced me to the important subject of homocysteine toxicity, and that's a book called The Homocysteine Revolution. In any case, Dr. McCulley was a resident in Mass General Hospital back in the late 1960s when he noticed that the symptoms of heart disease, atherosclerosis, specifically clogged arteries, were very similar to the symptoms of a genetic disorder called homocystinuria, which is a genetic disorder where homocysteine levels build up in ridiculously high amounts in the blood. As the story goes, Dr. McCulley had a patient who was 9 years old, a little girl who was 9 years old, and she had this disease where homocysteine levels just build up to crazy amounts. And this girl's uncle had the same disease many years earlier when he was 9 years old. No one understood really what kind of health issues were going on, but they noticed that both this little girl, Dr. McCulley noticed that this little girl, and many years earlier, it was noticed that this little girl's cousin or uncle had very high levels of homocysteine and also had clogged arteries. Now, clogged arteries occur when we get older. Clogged arteries, it's understandable that the arteries would clog with age, but this was a 9-year-old girl. And earlier, her uncle, who was also 9 years old, had the same problem. These were little kids who had atherosclerosis, the same kind of atherosclerosis that occurred in older folks. But these little kids with atherosclerosis also had elevated levels, ridiculously high elevated levels of homocysteine. And Dr. McCulley wondered if there was a connection between the high levels of homocysteine and atherosclerosis. And this is very significant because at the time, everybody was obsessed with the so-called lipid hypothesis of heart disease. That is the idea that eating fat made you have heart attacks. There's still boneheaded doctors who'll tell you that. Eating fat gives you heart attacks. I talk to doctors all the time. They say, well, you got to lower your saturated fat. They tell you saturated fat. These are doctors who don't do research. These are doctors who don't follow up on the literature. And lay people as well. Usually they live in New York, I find. Not just New York, but usually they live on the East Coast. This is where the mainstream model is really entrenched, on the East Coast. In any case, you find lay people and you find doctors and you find physicians who'll tell you that it's fats and it's saturated fat, it's cholesterol that cause heart disease. And even though today it's the log jam in this belief system is starting to break, back in the late 1960s, it was really the firm belief of medical professionals that heart disease was caused by lipids and fats. And Dr. McCulley came along and said, well, wait a minute. seems to be something else percolating here, and it involves homocysteine. I'll tell you what happened to Dr. McCulley for having the nerve to contradict the medical model when we come back from our break.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw of free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Hi, Coast to Coast listeners. I'm Kay Zwirling from KSCO Radio in Santa Cruz. I'm 93 years old, and I'm a big fan of George Norrie because his topics and guests are fascinating and really get you thinking. George is just as bothered as I am by all the advertising you hear for toxic prescription drugs that make you sicker, not healthy. I prefer to give my body all 90 essential nutrients it needs for life to prevent disease, not compound it. My favorite complete supplement is Beyond Tangy Tangerine from Longevity, which I take every day along with EFA Plus and Beyond OsteoFX, which together are called the Healthy Start Pack. I recommend you go online to criticalhealthnews.com to purchase these products. That's criticalhealthnews.com or call 855-949-RADIO.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins, but did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Independently leading the way for the nation. Compelling talk for every political persuasion. We are GCN.
All right, we're back on the bright side. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time. 24 hours and 7 days a week at brightsideben.com. On the archive page, you got over 3 years of archives up. If you miss a program, you can always review them. And if you want to search a program, you can head over to benfuchsarchives.com. We have a search box. Thank you to Peter in the UK. It works pretty darn well. You just punch in a topic and you'll get the shows that where we talked about those topics.